Hey everybody, we're back with the Fiend Cave podcast. I bet you weren't expecting it, or maybe you were, or maybe you're just waiting for the right time like we were.
Or
I have no idea what I'm saying.
We got silenced by the FCC.
Yeah.
Truth is we got lost in a maze, and we couldn't find our way out. It was a corn maze.
A lot of cheese, you know.
Now,
I found it eventually.
Now, honest truth, is I thought I had mono for a month.
Turned
out I was just really bored.
Well, I'll start doing something. Hey, I don't have it after all.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been
a minute.
Wow, yeah, it's been a minute to say the least, and we're back, and of course we have very special guests. Our not so blood brother, but should be blood brother, Paul, Mr. Paul Arthur. To specify there, Paul Arthur, and yeah. So
as usual, we're here. Which is saying something because Richard's been AWOL to me for a while, just changing places. But
I've been randomly choosing houses just to see what works. I've been flipping them, not upside down or anything, but
I've been flipping
telling all
off.
these lame jokes. Yeah, well, there you go too. I've been doing a lot of that.
But honest truth, we're in a new cave.
New cave, yeah.
Growing accustomed to it. It's nice. It's a little less spacious, but
A little smaller, but we're making it work.
It works for what we need.
Earlier today, we had 4 people, 4 cats going. It was nice, you know.
It was solid.
It was solid.
Considering it's like in the 80s and we didn't all sweat to death.
Yeah. Got the air going full blast, and we're still kind of sweating it out, but
I kind of like to think of this cave as the sequel.
yeah, which is our theme for our show.
Damn, that's solid. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah,
when we were making
the
that
sequel.
up.
Yeah, so we've kind of gone away and came back, and kind of a new start and everything, and so pretty stoked for it. Actually, got all kinds of ideas and stuff, and I'll be trying some new things, and
So basically, what we're getting at is that we're going to do our top 5 favorite sequels. But let me just cue into this by just giving a little anecdote of something from my childhood, or right in my teenagehood, with someone I affectionately used to call Big Dirty. He called himself Big Dirty, and we just kind of all went with it. But I just... Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Well, don't you bother when people give themselves their own names?
Well,
it shouldn't be that way.
I can't give that to him because it was not, in fact, a Big Dirty story. I apologize. My mind is kind of wandering. It was actually my friend BJ, who I'm going to give a shout out to BJ real quick, who came up with the movie once on a random bored day of poop. And then suddenly he just went, Shit 2, the sequel to Poop.
That might sell, because look at some of the movies that are out and what sequels get made, since we're talking about sequels.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you ever what was that movie with the killer tire rubber? Did you ever see that movie?
Don't talk to me about rubber. I hate that movie.
It's like, how do you get money to make something like that? Well, I'll tell you, these days it's a tax write-off. Seriously.
I want to find the person that produced Rubber, that gave that person money.
Yeah.
Find him in a bar, walk over, offer to buy him a drink, and when he nods his head and says yes, I will punch him directly in the testicles and demand my $5 back.
Did you pay $5 to see that?
That's how much Netflix costed at the time that I watched it one night.
Wow.
So he owes me a month.
Wanted to make a movie called Palindrome, so if it's successful going forward, it'll be successful when I do it backwards.
Yeah, that's true. That's a solid point. A good idea. Well, hopefully, like a producer, somebody with some cash, here's this. You laugh, but it'll get made to a movie. He'll laugh.
Straight to video.
Yeah, look at some movies coming out. Yeah.
Hey, like the Jim Jones kill, he'll take you out with one punch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So we're doing, of course, this show about sequels because we're back.
Which, predominantly sequels suck. I'm not even going to lie. But there are exceptions to the rule, and lots more exceptions than you'd expect over the last few years.
Sure. There have been some gems.
Not one of them being Gem, by the way.
Well, yeah.
I think I've actually just changed my list.
Hold on, let me scratch that out. Put something else. I had my honorable mention.
But,
It was Ninja Turtles 2, wasn't it?
I will punch you in the face for that.
At least not the balls like the guy in the bar.
The rubber guy's getting punched in the testes. You're getting one to the face because I
Watch your
respect
back if
you.
you're
And
still
that's
around.
just, that's just a bad choice.
I always wondered if Stretch Armstrong was a little too stretchy there. I don't know.
It always made me wonder as a kid, and you're a child, you don't.
Here's some things you need to know about Stretch Armstrong. First off, we did some experiments with my friend's little brother, Stretch Armstrong. Experiment 1: don't put him in the microwave.
Yeah.
Like,
He can't stretch out.
basically, he kind of comes back and he looks like a victim of the blob. Like all half melted. Now, here's
Like a puddle ooze.
experiment number 2.
Yeah.
If you do, in fact, put Stretch Armstrong in the microwave and melt him, you cannot, in fact, take Stretch Armstrong and put him in the freezer and get him back in shape. It won't work.
Retract him, kind of.
We tried. All that happened was the goop just froze to the bottom of the ice tray. And
Nice.
Dude, that just sounds awesome.
he had the freaky smile the whole time. That was the funniest part.
The big smile, yeah. I wonder how much those go for now. If you could get well, let's say a brand new one's still in the box. I wonder what they go for now, because we should buy one and try this.
We're not using my microwave. I'll tell you that.
Well,
right
no,
now.
we'll find a cheap one or
Sounds
something.
to your local, workplace.
Like a good. Oh, I was gonna say Goodwill.
Your local old job we all used to work at. No names being thrown out there. They have several.
Smamber Mombi and
my thoughts.
And Kitsch.
Yep.
Smamber Mombi and Miff.
Miff. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, so say tons of microwaves, we could just...
So how did we get on the subject of melding a Stretch Armstrong when we were talking about sequels?
I have no idea. Oh, rubber, maybe? We were talking about rubber?
Okay, so
I don't know where we're going with this.
sequels that don't suck.
Right. So before we get started talking about our list, is there anything you'd like to add, or maybe, what's been going on with you, or just kind of say, I'm glad to be here, and,
My single drops next week. No, I don't have anything.
They see me rolling. No.
And I don't have a charity where I'm trying to save, sexless whales from extinction by nuclear weapons or anything like that.
Are we drunk? What's going on here? It sure seems like it.
No Kickstarters I can think of other than to give me money because I'm not as rich as I should be.
I don't know. Give me a half hour. I'll come up with something.
Sure.
And I'll have the link at the at the end of the page. So, no. Yeah. So, of course, returning. So let's get, I guess, down to it. Let's talk about some sequels.
And I can't be all like, oh yeah, last one you went first, so I ain't going first because I don't even remember
who went first.
I don't even remember what the last one was.
Our crushes of.
No, that was when you were here.
No, he didn't.
Oh, that's right. You were here for that one.
Yeah, you were here for that.
That might be it.
That was our last one. That was our number 8. I know this because I went back not too long ago and looked at the page and see if I could still get into the YouTube and all that. Because it's been a while.
Yeah.
So this will be,
I had to take
I guess,
a cold shower after that one. Now that I think about it.
Rogue.
Throwing out names. But,
anyway.
So here is our top 5.
Sure.
Sequels, yeah. I was thinking fictional crushes, part 2, but
let's do rock, paper, scissors, see who goes first. 1, 2, 3, shoot! Well, you're out. So you're first.
So just to recap, we all had paper, and then 2 of us had.
You had scissors. I had upside down paper. That's why this is upside down.
And then, so you 2, and then I'm last.
Yep.
Okay. So who's going first? Me.
Wait.
Okay.
You had rock. You're first.
You had rock.
Beats paper.
No.
Rock
Rock beats scissors. Yeah.
So I go first. Then
you guys
you.
cut me.
Okay.
You guys.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I thought it was more like you got to go first because you lost. But no, I'm fine with going first.
You lost that bad.
Well, I ruined the system. The system is down.
The system has failed. If you're a Megadeth fan. Anyway.
Right. So my number 5.
Counting down
from 5 to 1, in case you didn't know math.
With no rest stops in between.
No, there might be a rest stop. I got urine in me.
Well, I'm drinking a Pepsi currently. Yeah. It might go through me.
I got some Evian. No, wait, I got some Fiji. Anyway, my number 5 is a movie that doesn't get enough goddamn credit, even though the first is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
I dare say it, Predator 2.
Oh,
Nice.
you went, wow, I almost went there, and you did. And
Predator 2 is so fucking great.
It is very underrated. A lot of people, dare I say, shit on it, and
Yeah.
it's a good film. It really is.
It's amazing. Like, I love Schwarzenegger, don't get me wrong.
Oh, yeah, he's the action hero.
Danny
but-
Glover is, like, he does so much more in that movie than Dutch does.
Well, and here's what I liked about it, too. And you want to say, the Lethal Weapon movies, he was the sidekick, right?
Mhm.
To Riggs. In this one, he is the badass. You
Yeah.
know, he's not the sidekick, so...
Right. Well, and I mean, on top of that, it's also a movie that works on the mythos of the Predators. You
Sure.
get a little more info on, like, the fact that there's more of them, obviously, because this isn't the same one from the first.
Sure.
You know, you get to see more technology. Like, it's just... all the weaponry is so cool. In
The
it.
weaponry is like awesome. Everything from the stick, you know, the spear,
Right.
to the throwing disc, which
Throwing
is
disc
badass,
is
can
amazing.
cut anything in half, and
The
so-
net.
the net that can pretty much slice you into pieces, and yeah.
And,
So
you know,
all
just
good
in
stuff.
case there wasn't enough of a badass in Danny Glover, they decided to throw in Gary frickin' Busey,
which battles the Predator.
who is so insane. He has to get killed twice.
Well, this is true. He does.
I
He
mean,
comes back, and
how do you get back from getting shot in the face with a laser cannon?
I
don't know. He comes back looking like, you know,
And he's
rotisserie chicken.
and he still tries to freeze him.
And
That's the
still
crazy
tries to
thing.
take
He
him
still
out,
tries
and
to
then
freeze
gets,
him.
and then it gets
Yeah.
cut in half, which I was really like, I wish there was a cut scene
Uh-huh.
where after he gets cut and his legs fall off, the top of him falls.
Sure.
That, you know, it just, like, they're like 12 miles away, and there's, you know, Danny Glover and the Predator still fighting. Then all of a sudden, you just hear, "Guess who's back?" And he's crawling, and his legs are gone, and he's just crawling.
He's got his freeze gun.
And he's like, no, the freeze gun's not even working. He's just got like a knife, and he's jamming it in the Predator's leg.
He has into his shin or something. Like, ah!
Or like at the end of the movie, after everything, there's Gary Busey coming up. He's like, "I'm not done with him." In a
that's
perfect
awesome.
world, that's how I would end that movie.
Well, it's kind of like that YouTube series. This is the way it should have ended, or
Mhm.
something. That would have been cool for Predator 2. So there's some ideas for you guys.
That being
Go
said, it's a great all-around movie. I was actually just reading an article the other day that kind of inspired me, just talking about like
Sure.
how it's the black sheep of the family, and it really shouldn't be. It doesn't have Schwarzenegger. It's not as machismo as the first one was.
Sure,
But
absolutely.
it wasn't trying to be. It was a different movie. It was more of a cat and mouse game.
Right.
Absolutely. The first one was set, you know, of course, in the jungle, and they really made it seem like you were there in the jungle, you know, fighting with them. With the second one, it was in the city, and I felt like I was in the alleys, and
Yeah.
when he was chasing him up and down the buildings and stuff. So it's a gem in my book, and
Yeah.
people crapped on it years ago, and they've come around. And if you look at the rest of the Predators or the Aliens, you know, they crap on those too. And
Well, let's look at this. Let's do it by the numbers.
Sure.
All right. Predator 2 had Gary Busey, so Predator 1 didn't have that.
Mhm.
Predator 2 had Bill Paxton. Predator 1 did not have Bill Paxton. Predator 2 had boobies. Predator 1 did not have boobies.
About that, yeah. That's
And
true.
just, all along, like, I love the first Predator. I'm not burning on the first one. I'm
No,
just saying that
yeah, the first one is
the
classic.
second one is amazing, and it's not the same type of movie. It's
it
a different take.
should be a different movie.
So,
And yeah, of course you got Bill Paxton in it, which makes it instantly badass. So
the only man that has been killed by both aliens and predators.
and Predators, yeah,
So
no doubt.
you can't knock it.
Has an award
And
for that.
Terminators.
And Terminators, yeah, he's been
He's just got no luck.
yeah. And battling them all. Hell yeah. But yeah, great choice. Like I said, that could have made my list, but it didn't. But it should have. So
Right on.
you know, that's awesome that you picked it. So hell yeah, right on. All right, so that was your number 5. So are we going with
That'd be
Mr.
okay.
Mr. Arthur
So-
next? All right.
My choice is actually the oldest of the list, and probably my favorite of the series, The Godfather 2.
You know,
much.
I heard a lot of
darker
people
than
say that. Oh yeah.
I hate to admit this, but I've only seen The Godfather. I've never seen the sequel.
No sequel.
It's not that I don't want to. It's just one of those that it's just the opportunity has never come up. I always have times where I'm like, man, I really need to watch something I've never seen before, and then I forget that list of things I haven't seen, which Godfather 2 is on, and I go back and probably watch another Godzilla movie I've seen 8 times before.
Instead of like, you know what,
Instead
I
of getting
should watch
some
this
culture
movie.
in my life.
Right,
I
right.
just watch the same things over and over.
Right,
I do
because
the
then
same.
you might be like, oh man, why did I wait so long to watch this movie? Because
Exactly.
we've all been there.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, this is a great movie.
But I have heard that it is a step
Yeah.
up from the first one, actually.
Definitely.
Now I do have to admit I haven't seen it in a long time, so
So for anyone who hasn't seen it,
yeah.
the premise is basically his son takes over the business,
Mhm.
the family business, and not only does he expand it, but it's a much darker role.
Oh
That's
yeah.
how he does it. So
Sure.
definitely makes my list at number 5. I
Yeah.
thought about maybe number 4, but then something else
Well,
Popped
and
in
again,
there.
I haven't seen it, but doesn't it focus on like De Niro as the younger version of him of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Young Michael Corleone.
Nice. Hell yeah.
or, wait, isn't he Vito? Michael is Al Pacino, isn't it?
Yeah, see, it's been about 30
See,
years.
this is
See, I'm
sad
not
that
even-
I haven't even seen it, but I just know
You
stuff.
But you know what? I took a movie quiz probably about a month ago. It was one of these stupid Facebook ones. It's like, you know, by this image, could you recognize this film? I got most of them right, and some of them I've never seen.
Yeah,
But it's just
true.
because I know, I've seen trailers or when they
Right.
came out. So
Sure.
Exactly.
it's things are just crazy like that. And I just have a bunch of useless information.
I think I also blame Scarface for the fact I haven't seen Godfather 2. So I got
Yeah.
so sick of everybody just sucking the dick of that movie
Sure.
that I really got sick of all gangster movies for
Sure.
a while. And for the only gangster movie I would sit and watch was in fact Dick Tracy.
Oh,
I just
wow! I
that's
haven't
where I
watched that in
was.
many years either, and
Yeah.
that was good, and that got a lot of crap when it came out too. I remember
It did.
it
I
got
love
a lot
that
of crap,
movie.
but it was a good film. Warren
Yeah.
Beatty, right?
Yeah, Warren
played
Beatty,
him.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was in
But,
kindergarten.
Wow.
I was
I loved the hell out of
I was in 3rd grade.
Wow. Wow. We were youngsters, so
Yeah.
yeah.
That's still a good one though. I am going to make it my job in this life to go see Godfather 2 this year.
Yeah, let's make
check
that
it out.
New
Check it
Year's
out. I will.
resolution, I suppose, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's not a hard one to remedy though.
Oh, yeah.
No. It's higher of all the gangster stuff. It's way up there where
Oh.
Scarface is on way bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Because just like like I said, it's just everybody.
Again, like I've seen Godfather and I was like, this is a great movie, and
Sure.
so everybody was like, yeah, you got to watch the sequel. I'm like, oh, I
I
definitely
will
will check that out.
I
just,
will. Yeah.
just
just
never came
haven't.
up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sure.
I definitely will.
Yeah, great film.
Excellent
Great
choice.
actors in it, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Pacino before he kind of went, ooh, crazy.
Kind of off the deep end a
Nowadays,
little
he kind of
bit.
looks like Al Pacino melted on somebody's face.
Kind of like the Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
It was put in a microwave.
Al Pacino was in fact put in a microwave in 1997. He's faltered ever since.
This sounds kind of like a Chuck Norris joke. Chuck Norris once was put in a microwave and
He stayed there and died 'cause Chuck Norris sucks. Sorry.
he melted in the microwave. I thought you were going to say something like that.
No.
But anyway, yeah, great film, classic film. I need to go find them as well and rewatch them. Are they on Netflix?
I don't think they're on Netflix.
Don't
Okay.
think so.
Okay. Say Hulu, Netflix, Amazon,
Maybe
any one of those.
Hulu.
Maybe
If
Amazon
you got
probably.
whoever listens
Sure.
and knows, let comment or whatever. Let us
Voodoo
know.
someplace.
Yeah, because that'll make it a little easier, so I won't have to legit go get it.
Or I could go to the one video store we have left in town.
Hey, I hope that's there for
But
a
with
long
my luck,
time.
I'd go there and they'd be like, "No, we don't have anything that old."
Wow,
What do you think we are, a video store?
That's a classic.
Yeah.
It's got
No,
to be.
sorry, we're out of it. We have one copy. It's
Hey,
it's something like that.
I'm sorry, that whole, but it's a classic. I'm sorry, I was on Netflix the other day and there was a list that went classics, and I go through and I shit you not, Legally Blonde was on there. I was like, what?
Not so much.
No.
Well, no, come on, guys. What's wrong with that one? That was a good film. I'm just joking.
And then he was thrown from the room.
I was going to say, now
I'd rather
my
watch The
balls
House
are
Bunny.
crawling up to be kicked.
I didn't watch that one either.
I didn't either.
Okay.
That's why I'd rather watch it anyway.
All right, so that was Mr. Arthur's
five.
number 5, Counting Down. And so I guess it's my turn. Counting Down. This might be a surprise to some of you, or not. Maybe to Sean, maybe not to Paul. But my number 5, Counting Down, for best sequels is just because he's badass when his hand gets ripped off and he decides to jam the knife into his stump. We're talking about Child's Play 2 with good old Chucky.
Yeah.
You know, he's melted on this, I don't even know what you call it, like cart or whatever, you know, in the factory, and he's still chasing after him. He's all knife hand, all duct taped and shit.
Absolutely.
It's like that, dude, that's pretty sweet. So that was always my favorite Chucky, was that one. Love them all.
What's funny is I have not seen the first 3 Chuckies.
Okay, so
in fact, I take
we got
it
a
back.
list for you
The
now.
only Chucky
yes.
I've seen is in fact Bride of Chucky. I watched.
Not the best by far.
The 3 first
Yes.
ones are key.
Definitely.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which I watched the third one last night.
I'm sure once my girlfriend hears this, she will probably kick my ass.
Well,
for
yeah, it'd be
admitting
like,
that
we got to
because
sit down and watch these movies.
I was just at her house today, and she had the 3 of them sitting there right in front of her
You
TV.
say she's got them.
Probably
watch
smack the
them.
crap out of me
Yeah.
and be like, "You need to get Chucky in your life."
He's got Brad Dourif in those movies, and has got such sarcasm and the jokes and I don't know, everything. It's just like I don't know. I still get a kick out of it, even as an adult. Watch him as a kid, and so yeah, that second one has.
You may feel slightly like, why did I watch Bride first? Because 1, 2, and 3 were much more.
It
80s.
wasn't on purpose that I watched Bride. It was like I got like railroaded into seeing it with some buddies when I was like in my 20s.
Well,
Sure.
I mean, at least it wasn't seed.
Yeah, but
I
no,
didn't see
that one we liked. Me and Paul were just talking about this. We like to pretend that one never happened. If that one could go away, we wish it would.
Yes.
All the other ones we really like.
Yes.
Bride is a solid movie, and it has funny moments
It
in
had
it.
the one guy getting like liquefied by a semi. I remember that pretty vividly.
Yeah. And of course, you had John Ritter in it as the crazy stepdad or whatever.
Which I remember at the time
That
laughing
became Pinhead.
hysterically at him getting killed, and then like he died a few years later, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Did he get shot in the face with the nails?
No,
Like-
no, he had a heart attack,
I
but
know. Same thing. No, I'm just joking. No, but it was awesome. He was in that, But yeah, it was, when you go back and watch the 3, when you eventually maybe get to Bride again, you'll be like, this guy's been fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, that's
He's
pretty
had
cool.
everything happen
What's
to
really
him.
funny is I thought you were going to refer to another movie when you said, gets hand cut off.
I
And,
did too.
yeah, I was like, oh, you son of a bitch. But then you didn't, and I was like, oh, okay, wait, knife into the stump? Okay, I don't
Well,
know.
Luke-
I'm
Luke
not
went
familiar
through
with
that.
that one. Right.
He went through that a little bit. No, I'm playing. Yeah, a lot of
Really?
people would say that's better sequel or better than the first actually. But
Oh, let's just stop for a moment. I didn't necessarily I didn't know we were. I was just going by great sequels. Like, I'm not necessarily saying, like, for instance, like Predator's better than Predator 2. It's just I like it. a lot.
Okay.
Like, I don't know if I'm saying it's better than the original. It's just I was just going by great sequels.
Okay, so
I'm just gonna say that for my list. I'm
Okay.
not. Like, when I go through it, I'm not necessarily saying that it's better than the original, although we get higher up in the list, and I will say that most of them are better than the
They're
original.
better than original. Okay.
But, like,
Sure.
Predator 2, I still love the first Predator. Let me
But-
just say that, like, Predator 2, I love it, but you can't have Predator without Predator.
Right.
So-
Absolutely.
So,
It
yeah,
is a
I just wanted
fantastic
to
movie.
say that in
Okay.
case somebody's like, oh, no way, you're wrong.
Like, how dare you say that's better
Yeah.
than the original? Okay, so let's clarify that. We're not saying that they're better than the original. They're just saying they're
They're just
fantastic sequels that maybe they get overlooked.
Mhm.
Right. Good follow-ups.
Absolutely.
Good, exactly.
That continue the franchise.
Exactly.
But-
That people had crapped on, but maybe they come around
Sure.
to, or hopefully they will. So.
But at the same time, I'm saying right now that if it's better than the original, I'm going to tell you straight up.
That's fair.
Because there are a few on here
there's
that
a
are
few
better.
on my list I will agree as well.
Yeah.
I think my number 1 I will probably agree, even though I do like the original a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hands down, the sequel is just like mind blowing,
Right.
better. But we'll get there.
Okay.
So, all right. So that was my number 5 on our list. So
Okay.
I guess we're back to you,
me.
sir. Yeah.
All right. Well, my number 4 is actually one that I've seen numerous times as a child. Well, not a child, but a teenager.
Yeah.
I kind of hated it when I was younger. for dumb reasons. But the older I got, the more I respected it. In fact, like, just the last 3 months, I've watched it a few more times and realized I don't think it's necessarily superior to the original.
Sure.
But it does things that really continues on the story and makes it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And without burying the lead anymore, I'm just going to say Friday the 13th Part 2 is a great movie.
Absolutely. I would agree with you there.
In the series, just because, one, how do you continue it after,
the mom dies?
Pamela gets her head cut off.
Sure.
You bring Jason in as somehow he's alive.
Sure.
I hated it as a kid because they kill off the girl from the first one, and I'm just, I hate when they do that in movies, but it made sense in he's like getting revenge for his mother's death, continuing it on. And they do a great job, like, say what you will, I think that Ginny, the main character in the sequel, is 10 times better than, the girl in the first, who I can't think of the character's name at the moment, but
I think she was more solid as an actress, definitely.
Yeah,
that too.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, she actually fights him,
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
She doesn't just, she fights Pamela in the first one too. I'll give her that, but it's just, like, she outthinks him. Like, I mean, come on, we've seen the Friday the 13th game where you put the sweater on and, like, talk to him like you're his mother, and it works.
Right, yeah.
And that's,
like,
that's a
some
key.
coming to you, kind of, yeah.
That, the killer is a mother's boy. And,
yeah.
Like, it's a solid movie. Like, I enjoyed it. Like, I watched it the other day, and it's not scary by any means, but it's got good tension, and I enjoy that.
Right. It set the tone for the many sequels, but I'm a big Friday the 13th fan. I really dig them, and 2 was a solid movie, absolutely. And it was the first introduction to Jason as the killer, and
say what you will about the hockey mask and how iconic it is, but that potato sack is kind of scary.
It was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And I didn't go back and watch that one until I watched the later ones. Like, the first one I ever saw was Part 8, of course.
Wow.
And so I did my homework, as everybody should with stuff. You go back, it's like, where did this come from? I want to know more about this. So you go back, you do your homework, you see that.
Yeah.
Absolutely, that one is creepy, where he just has the one eye hole in that, and it's a bag, and...
Well, then when he gets, like, he's wearing, like, flannel, and he's like a creepy redneck... Like, mongoloid, sort of.
Kind of gives you almost a Leatherface feel.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, when he gets the mask pulled off, he totally resembles Leatherface, like, if he didn't have the mask on. So, but it works. I mean, again, like, I think it's all around a pretty solid movie. Like, they get a good setup. The effects are pretty cool. There's some pretty cool kills. Yeah. The guy in the wheelchair going down backwards with the machete in his face.
Well, you know what?
Nuts.
I said, too, the first time I saw that, again, it wasn't my first one seeing that, but when you start watching these, who's going to die first? That guy was going to die before anybody else. He is just fucked. Just like, what's his name in Texas Chainsaw?
Guy in the wheelchair.
Sally, I'm coming with you. I'm coming. What's his name? I just watched that a long time. Not too long ago.
I can't remember his name, but
it's right there. But anyway, he's he's not surviving.
Right.
He's never getting out of that wheelchair.
Right. Nope. Yeah. So that was pretty funny actually when he went down backwards on the stairs. Like, see, we knew it.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty cool, iconic scene because it's like rainstorm, huge set of like wooden stairs, just
bouncing off of the different. Yeah.
And the only problem I have with that is just like, how did they keep it upright? Like, would it just topple over?
They got it kind of like on the other effects they've probably done. They probably got it on a cord, and they're just probably kind of sliding that shit down.
That's the only part. I was just like, wouldn't you just like hit like the first step and just topple over?
He would probably be like Nordberg in the first. Nordberg, that's wonderful. So I'm great to come back, and he flies out the chair.
Man, that's another good.
Imagine if that was recut with OJ.
Well, if it was recut with OJ, the whole final fight would be OJ versus Jason,
with him trying to get his gloves on, supposedly.
They don't fit,
and you must have quit, and all this other voodoo that.
Then Jason puts a pitchfork through his chest.
Down the stairs he goes.
Down the stairs he goes.
But no, in all seriousness, they could have chosen when they went for a sequel. They could have, how are we going to do this? We could have, like, okay, well, what if we bring the mom back? What if she's like a ghoul or some stupid... They could have went that route, but they didn't, and I'm glad, because we wouldn't have this icon.
Right, and I think it was cool that they didn't bring her back, but, like, the fact her severed head is, like, on an altar was really creepy and
pretty
cool.
much worships it, yeah.
And I've watched the documentaries. I'm really glad that, at the end of the movie, spoilers, like, it shows the altar and her head's still there, and then it just cuts to black. And they had said at one point they were going to have the eyes fly open and be like the big jump scare at the end. I'm glad they didn't, because that would have just been stupid. But
yeah.
That being said,
you're glad when they kind of...
It's unsettling enough as an ending.
Yeah, sure.
So,
yeah, definitely. That was the documentary. It's the Camp Crystal Lake
Memories.
Memories. That's a great documentary.
There's also one called His Name Was Jason, which is also pretty good, but it's kind of truncated.
Yes. Yeah, but good one. If you're a fan of the movies, definitely go watch those.
Oh, yeah.
Even though they're very long, but...
It's on Shudder, the whole thing.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay. I know they had...
I bought it online, too, so I have it streaming, but it's that good. Like, it's worth
they
it.
are. And if you're a big fan and you want to know about some of the stuff, maybe about the effects or the actors, the different actors that play Jason...
It's fascinating stuff.
It's really good stuff. And, okay, so correct me if I'm wrong here, but is that the first one where Tom Savini came in?
No.
Was number 2, or which one did he come in?
Savini came in on 1. And he
That's
did the effects on 1, and then didn't do any until 4.
Okay, so that's when he came back.
And then he officially, that was his last movie officially as a special effects guy, because he was going to get to kill Jason and it.
Okay,
so
sure.
That was the theory.
Okay, all right. I couldn't remember that.
Yeah.
I know he'd done a couple of them at least, so. Okay, right on. Well, great choice, you know.
Thank you.
Great sequel, you know. I enjoy, to be honest, I do enjoy the sequel better than the original. Even though we got Kevin Bacon getting stabbed through the neck.
Right.
In the neck, right?
It is. Like, the first one, it is what it is, but, like, it just... Once you know that, it's Jason Voorhees' mother is the killer, it just kind of takes away.
Yeah. But
whereas...
second one, you got this weird kind of...
It doesn't matter that we know Jason is the killer. That's scary enough.
Yeah.
It's just some dude going out just icing people. That's creepy enough.
Exactly. Kind of like, which one is it? Number 4 or 5, where it's the paramedic. Yeah. Not to spoil, but I didn't. You don't know that until
it's one of the parts.
End, really.
Yeah, and it kind of takes away once you know it's not Jason. You're suddenly like, that one's not as good as the others.
Yeah, but it has its moments.
The
funny
kills.
It's
actually pretty decent. Yeah,
it's a good. Yeah, it's a solid film as well. But anyway, we're getting off topic, I suppose. But.
Right on.
All right, but anyway,
so
solid
on.
pick.
Yeah, solid pick. Thank you.
All right, so who is next? I'm not keeping track of this. It's Sir Arthur again. Yeah, absolutely. What's your number 4, sir?
Number 4 was a last minute change, and I don't know why I didn't think of it earlier. Since I've watched this movie about 60,000 times in my youth, it's got to be the best number 2 of all time, even though it's number 5.
Okay.
Episodically.
Okay.
Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
Oh God, yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
I would expect that to be on the list somehow. Like,
sure,
it's not on mine, but yeah, I totally agree with you.
A lot of people agree with you too, and that. I mean, to me, it's just those original ones.
Sure,
definitely.
That's my cup of tea, and
the whole fact that it's it's a big movie about heroes and stuff, and yet the heroes don't win.
No,
sure, it's a darker film.
Every turn they get some type of defeat.
Yeah.
Except for Wedge Antilles.
Well,
he saves the day.
Right. Antilles is.
I will say that until the end of time. Wedge Antilles is the hero of the Star Wars trilogy. And screw you all for thinking differently.
This is the way it is. But definitely.
I mean,
I need to go back and watch those. It's been so long.
They're so good.
And I'm talking about the original cuts, not with all the extra scenes. I don't want to see that. I want to see the original films, which they're still out there, thankfully.
And the fact that they're doing the sequels now that are directly from those first 3 make it that much more entertaining.
Sure,
and good.
Sure. Instead of going back and whatnot. So the key
so iconic.
Sequel, yeah.
And it's funny, like, we've gone through, other than Predator 2, like, not even Godfather 2 necessarily, but, like, just in, like, Friday 2, and then in Empire, like, iconic scenes that kind of change everything,
Right. Yeah.
Like the reveal that, it's Jason, whereas, the reveal that, Vader is Luke's father.
Sure.
Just like, there's a funny Simpsons where it's just like a short gag where it just says, like, 1981 or whenever Empire Strikes Back came out, and it's Homer walking out of Empire Strikes Back with a line of people with Marge. He's like, "Oh, that was an amazing movie. Who would have thought that Darth Vader was Luke Skywalker?" And something they all like turn like, ah. Just yeah.
You gotta love that. People ruin it.
Well, I mean, like as a kid, I already knew before I even saw the first Star Wars. Like I knew the story.
Sure.
So it's like I already knew it was his father. So
sure.
like I can't. That was spoiled for me. But like the thing, sitting in the theater and finding that out for the first time.
Yeah.
Have you, like they show videos of like little kids, like their parents introducing them to the movies, and like when the kids find that out, if they haven't watched the prequels, like that's a special moment right there.
See, that's the way I'm going to introduce him to my son when he's ready.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Like you should always go with the first three, and then if he enjoys the movie enough, you can be like, all right, here these are.
Don't show him that Jar Jar stuff we were talking about earlier. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what
you can either go, yeah, there were 3 other movies, they're not good, here, watch Force Awakens, or you can be like...
What? There was those? Oh, I never heard of those, son. Yeah. But you shouldn't watch them either.
Be like, okay, the only other way I would allow it would be like if you go, okay, you can watch Rogue One, and now you can watch A New Hope, and then Empire, and then Jedi, and then Force Awakens, and then the next one that's coming out.
Sure. Right.
I think I'm going straight the way they did. 4, 5,
and
6.
That's fine too, because I mean, Rogue One's a great movie, but it's almost more fun watching it like later.
Yeah.
Sure.
Like going, oh yeah, and this happened too. Okay.
Some of the mythology and
definitely go with the basic myth.
Sure.
Yeah. First.
Yeah. That's
because the other ones it does get kind of complex, where maybe the old ones are a little more simple. I don't know. I could understand them as a kid. I don't know. I guess.
Well, the reason they work is just they're simple, they're to the point, and they still have good acting and like likable characters. So it works.
Good versus evil, and I mean, there's a little bit of gray, but but yeah, great choice. And I need to go back and watch those soon too, because it's been many years.
They had them for $20 at Bargain Box, but we couldn't tell if they were. Well, I'm pretty sure that they're not the originals, because I don't think there are DVD versions of the originals, like unedited.
Maybe VHS or something.
You can definitely do a VHS, but
DVDs maybe not.
You can find it, but I'm sure it's a pretty penny.
I've heard Disney's trying
Laserdisc, maybe.
Laserdisc, you do it. I've heard Disney's been thinking about releasing them, and it's like,
they should.
Why have you not done it yet? You're screwing with fans.
If nothing else, if you have no other reason, why? Money.
Cash cow for sure.
Yeah, fans will buy it up just to add to their collection.
I'm not a huge Star Wars fan anymore, but I'll buy that in a heartbeat.
That's just like I was just talking to my girlfriend about this. It's like every version of Hellraiser they came out with, not necessarily different cuts of the film, but the different box art or whatever. At one point in time, I had to have it because different versions of it. So they should definitely do that for fans. Because, like I said, for money, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So. But yeah.
So, I believe we're moving on to you
after her cat.
Cat?
So
I thought it was a small child.
I believe it was. Well, they're food babies.
I thought it was Charles Lee Ray.
Ouch, Charlie.
He wants to play hide to soul. Don't listen to him, Tyler. He's bad. Number 3.
I'm Chet. You want to play?
Well, these things are just, they say everything, don't they? All right, so moving on to number 4.
Number 4.
Okay, so I think maybe you would 100% agree with this. Even though the first one is iconic, I'm going to go, my number 4 for sequels is Temple of Doom. It's very
well.
A lot.
No. It's funny because that's actually my number 3.
Wow.
So.
Well, 2 birds with 1 stone. There you go.
Temple of Doom is better than Raiders of the Lost Ark, and anybody that wants to fight me on that, I'll give you my address because it is.
And here it is. It's on the screen right now.
I don't give a crap what you say.
Right. There's a lot of people that disagree. You're entitled to your opinion.
Sure.
We don't care.
Wrong,
but
this is another one where the first one's great, but the second one's much
oh my God! Yeah, over the top.
Yes.
Parts of the comedy, adventure.
Sure. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, okay, Nazis. Yeah, they're the worst of the worst.
Oh yeah.
But
definitely.
What's one thing that might be just a hint more terrible than Nazis? evil death cult that uses children for slavery.
And once you can rip your heart out,
Yeah,
while
you
it's
can
still
rip your
alive.
heart out.
Yeah,
And
some
that's
scary
any
shit.
movie where you take the beloved Indiana Jones and make him a bad guy at one point.
Sure,
Dude,
There you
that
go.
that
Get away
wrenched
with
my
it.
heart as a kid.
Yeah.
Like, when he like burns him to bring him back.
Yeah.
Like, I got tearful.
Oh, it is. It's a very emotional, and then you see he comes back, and you know.
I
Yeah.
think if you're doing any research on our podcast, I put Indy in my top 5 heroes list for a scene in that movie where he gets back his identity and like
Sure.
it's just a scene of like he says we're gonna go basically they're gonna go and save all the kids.
Sure.
And you just see all the kids in the mines slaving away, and the
Right.
mine car moves up, and then like the light from the mine car just catches him, and you just hear a thunder punch, and a guy goes flying.
Oh yeah, it really is.
'Cause,
It's like a big, a lot of bass, like thack. You see him
Shit,
go,
it's hit the fan and it's on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Yeah,
it's just
he's
iconic.
Yeah, it's iconic. He steps up as a hero in that movie, and like I said, the lines in it are still whenever when I hear Kalima, Shakting, Obum, I still lose it. Or when they're on the bridge,
Yes.
and he cuts the rope or whatever.
Prepare to
See,
meet
Yes.
Kali
And
in hell.
Go ahead, Dr. Jones. They will be found. You won't.
You know, nuts. He crazy.
Hold on, lady. We're going off for a ride. How do you not lose it?
Yes.
Molaram is a badass villain,
Right.
but I because we're taking the moment here because we both have this for our list, so this will basically count as two turns.
Yeah.
I gotta share this.
Sure.
Shout out to my buddy Andy Zarn. Came up with this one night while we were drinking. I
Sure.
think we had just finished watching Temple of Doom. It was a guy's machismo night, so we're drinking like lager and like watching like Lethal Weapon and Die Hard and Temple of Doom.
All those movies. Yeah.
And he was like fascinated with Molaram as we're watching it, and he's just like, I bet if he mellowed out a little bit, he'd be cool to like party with. I was like, how do you figure?
Absolutely.
He's like, the only thing is I can just picture this is like the next day, you get up after a huge party, there's just bodies everywhere. He wakes up and he's like, oh man, that was crazy, guys. And he looks, he's got like a still beating heart in his hand. He's like, oh my god. Whose heart is this? It doesn't stay very long. I don't remember whose I pulled out. It's like
Kalima.
it's a cool party trick, but don't get drunk and forget who you pulled it out of.
Yeah, don't forget to put it back.
I've got to say, it has one of the best opening sequences.
When they're in that
They're
club.
in the club.
Yeah,
Anything
sure.
goes, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah,
It's
with
great.
Shorty, and they're passing the
Yeah, they got the lazy Susan on the table, just
Sure.
passing the
He's
stuff.
passing stuff, and then he's got the drug or whatever, and he needs the
antidote.
the antidote and everything, and
The places the antidote goes.
Oh, yeah, pretty much. And it's also funny when they're in that plane or whatever, and it. Well, does it stop? I can't remember. Does it run out of fuel, or does the
The
crew
pilots
take
jump
off?
off on purpose because they're working for the guy that
Oh,
they
that's
screwed.
right. Oh, yeah, because that's right. Because they're there when they take
so
off.
They
yeah.
basically jump with parachutes.
With the raft.
With the
No,
no,
you're talking-
the guys
the
jump
crew,
with
the
parachutes.
crew, yeah.
And then Willie wakes up to realize that the pilots are flying out, and then goes up and sees
Jump
that
ship.
they're
Dr.
gone,
Jones.
and it's just kind of like Shorty.
Right.
Nobody will wake up, and she's flipping out.
This is funny because you see him like in the raft going down, the side of the snowy mountain. And
do,
you
yeah.
see off in the sunset, like
Yeah.
smash, kaboom.
I take that back. No, they do purposely cut the fuel line before they
okay.
jump because he looks and he goes, altimeter, okay, fuel, because you see that the fuel is like all
like
pulled
bouncing
out.
around. Yeah.
So yeah, that's a great opening.
I love it. It's like, pew.
Well, and again, like it makes nods to the original. Like I love the scene where again, iconic in Raiders is the scene where the guy comes with a sword and he's all getting badass.
Sure.
And he just pulls a gun and shoots him. Whereas in Temple of Doom has this great scene where again it's two swordsmen this time come up and they're all doing their thing and he just looks and gets a smile, goes to go for his gun and realizes his gun's
he's
out there.
got
He's like,
it. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
he has to actually fight him. It's so funny to me. It's
Oh, that
almost
look.
better.
Yeah, that grin. He has like a shitting grin, yeah.
He realized he's screwed. He's like, aw.
No gun this time. Oh, God, yeah. All right, so that was my number 4.
And that was my number 3.
And so, great choices
And
if I
good
do say so
timing.
myself, yeah.
I was this close to putting that on my list, actually.
Well,
it's funny good.
No, yeah, great mind thinks alike.
Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
My number 3,
number 3, sir.
set with probably one of the greatest 80s action heroes ever.
We already
mentioned
know.
him already in Predator.
Okay, absolutely. The last action hero,
Yes,
as
well, that's
we call him.
that is true.
You know,
Only, this movie doesn't have a guy with a glass eye
or a
that
magic
explodes.
ticket, yeah.
or any of that. This
For
is
the hurt.
Terminator 2.
You know,
And
I always forget Terminator 2 is a sequel because it's that good.
It is. That
Well,
good.
you know what? And that is my number 1 on the list.
Damn.
Wow.
Because you know what? The
It's-
first time I saw that, and I'd seen the first one when I was a kid, T2 came out. Wow, that's all you could say.
Yeah.
Special effects, everything. The
Everything.
stunts, wow.
I remember as a kid, I saw it in theaters because, like, it was a rated R movie and my parents were like, screw it, we gotta go see this.
Right.
But I just remember, though, because I saw Terminator at a young age and thinking, like, I was actually scared by it because I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it scared me because he wasn't the hero in the first
Sure,
one.
the villain,
He's
yeah.
a really bad
Yeah.
guy, and, like, Reese dies.
Yeah.
So,
Sure.
I mean, like, it
Sure.
really is on a downer note at the end, and I didn't really like it as a little kid.
It was very dark as
Right,
the first
yeah.
movie.
And, like, I remember my parents going, we're going to go see T2, and I was not excited because I was just like, I don't want to watch a movie where Arnold's a bad guy again.
Right.
And then going to see it and just be like, this might be one of the very greatest movies I've ever seen in my life.
No doubt. Seriously.
It was that
seriously,
good.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a minute.
Wow. Yeah. The one-liners, of course, so many of them. The acting is perfect.
Yeah. James
Um,
Cameron's great.
James
Yeah.
Cameron.
Back when he was just on top of his game.
he
completely.
was on fire, with Aliens,
Mm-hmm.
T2, True Lies.
Yeah.
That's when he was.
I mean,
Top of his game.
T2 was like could be considered like the greatest action movie of all time.
Oh, I
possibly.
would agree with that.
like just some of the
Absolutely.
stunts even to this
Yeah.
day are that good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we have with the motorcycle.
Oh,
And then also the CGI was very fresh.
yeah,
what
and
they
it
were
still,
doing,
it
and
still
for-
stands up to this day.
Yeah,
It's fresh
and it
on
still looks good. The way he's melting and shape shifts and all that, and yeah, it's awesome.
It was a metal movie though too. Like,
Oh, it was metal. It was
Just-
metal.
It
It was
was.
cool
In many ways.
metal as fuck. Pardon my French. But
Yeah.
it was. It really was.
Like the scene with the SWAT team, like when they're getting the stuff
Oh yeah.
at the lab, and like he ggets the minigun and stuff. That's
Yeah, just wipes
cool.
all that out.
And he's like just walking through, like shooting the gas grenades at people. And he's just walking
Pulling
up
off the mask
because he doesn't. It doesn't affect. He's a Terminator. He just walks up, pulls a mask off a guy. It doesn't even hurt him. Just
Yeah, the guy's just like passes out.
it's really funny, actually.
Oh, but my favorite part is when they show up on the bike to the hospital, and then of course the security guard comes out, visiting hours, 8
Oh,
to
he
4,
just
Monday through
shoots him
Friday.
right in the foot.
Kneecaps him. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you swore he'll live.
You live. I swear I will not kill anyone.
Put up your hand. You got to put up your hand.
It's just great.
What?
Like I thought as a kid when I first saw that, I was like, I don't know if that's gonna work because like he's a Terminator. How cool is
Sure.
it gonna be if you take away his ability to kill?
Right.
But no, it works
It,
perfectly.
it does. It's a.
Like the scene where he's using the freaking minigun on the entire like SWAT team and cops all out there, and it just cops of casualties 0. Like how?
That
That's a
precise.
good targeting.
But that was
That
cool.
precise. Yeah, I remember when they're in that bunker getting all his guns, and he's like, "Yeah, that's definitely you." No. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a perfect movie. It really
That
is.
movie did get me in trouble once though.
Oh yeah.
Is there at the iconic scene where Sarah Connor's got the knife and she's carving on the table,
it, yeah.
and then she falls asleep and has the dream,
dream.
and she wakes up and it's no fate written on the table. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
I carved that onto the table or my wood dresser in my room, and my parents were like, "What the fuck is this?" And knew
Why?
exactly who did it and what they did it because of. Like, why would you do that?
I have questions about this. It's like, no, they knew all the answers.
No, they knew all the answers. There was no question about it. It's like, you need to. There's no reason you need to do that.
Yeah.
Now that was ruined, and sure enough,
Right.
it's still. I think I might still have that dresser. I think it still says no fate on it somewhere.
Dude, that's a keeper. There you go. Keep that around. Yeah, that movie also kind of freaked me out too as a kid, just because of the nuclear war and everything. Because that stuff might actually happen. You know,
Sure.
nuclear winter and all that. Everybody's got nukes. That might happen.
It's still scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Still
No,
possible.
everybody's got a
And-
finger on a button. It could happen at any time.
And on top of that, just the idea that like technology comes alive and kills us
Right.
is possible. We're like stuff's getting smarter every day.
Oh my God! You can talk to your game system, your phone.
Oh,
you
we're
know,
screwed.
Everything is in there for you. You don't even have to think much really anymore.
We're
So-
all like, we've got GPSs on our phones. Like, if the machines rise up, we're screwed within a couple of
they
hours.
technically have, because they told us to go around like in a circle or
Yeah.
whatever, to get lost on purpose. So it's
Yeah,
like,
they almost sent us the wrong.
Skynet
if
is
they
here.
decided
Yeah.
right now Skynet was the moment, we're done. We're already gone.
Paul, we're going home like in the lake or something like that. It's gonna get us. But
left off the cliff.
okay, well, why question it?
Right.
We'll be like Thelma and Louise. But yeah, that, and of course Stan Winston.
Sure.
Oh man.
The special effects master when it came to puppeteering and
Oh, yeah.
Predator,
Yeah.
Pumpkinhead, all that stuff.
I remember like wanting a whole movie of just the opening scene
Mm-hmm.
of Terminator 2 where it shows the future.
Shows them battling.
And then I got it in
Yeah.
Terminator Salvation. It wasn't
Wasn't
nearly
what
as
you
cool
thought
as I
it
thought it
was
was going to be.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
where
yeah.
were all the laser guns?
True. Well, it's because we went back in time so many damn times. It's like all
Yeah.
that stuff's screwed up.
This is like, where are all the hunter killer like tanks going
Sure,
around, and like
sure.
the fly things and laser guns everywhere, and like Terminators just walking around without their skin, like, fuck it, I'm gonna kill you.
Right. It's like there's no need for
I
that.
must-
to hide from you.
Right.
I bet I rewound that opening scene like 20 times.
Yeah,
This
it
is
was cool,
amazing.
the stomping on the skull,
Oh,
just
yeah.
the opening of it, and yeah. And I think when I was probably 17, 18, I went down to Florida with my buddy for vacation, and we went to Universal, and they had the Terminator the Ride or whatever
Yeah.
it was, where it's like they had the actors come out and all that stuff, and that was
Nice.
badass, where they had somebody play Sarah Connor and all that, and
Yeah, I
that
wanted
was
to
really
check
cool.
that out. I heard it was pretty
yeah,
cool.
it's got to be on YouTube.
Sure.
And I'm sure they probably don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I don't
But
think so.
it was pretty cool for them. It
Definitely
was pretty
badass.
cool. If you're a fan of the movie, you would love it.
Iconic. Yeah,
Yeah.
great choice.
Great choice. Absolutely.
Definitely, as much as I love the original, it's definitely a step up.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
it blew it
yeah,
away.
by far, yeah.
Like I said, the original one was very dark.
Well,
See what
and
the future
it's
could be.
important that you see the first one to kind of get an idea
Right,
where
to
we're
know what
going.
it
We're
is.
going next. Yeah.
But like
Sure.
you get to Terminator 2 and it's just blows the first one
Oh,
away.
it does, it
Just
does.
The story's better, the action's better.
Acting is even better.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Acting is
Yeah.
a lot better, and it's one of those things where they put a lot of money into that
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
and it made a lot of
It paid
money.
off.
Oh my God, yeah.
It's probably still making money.
It still makes money, DVDs and digital, and
The game,
the
Oh, yeah.
game. Yeah,
There's
sure,
comics, even.
everything.
That's
yeah.
a Blu-ray.
Spawned
I think
everything.
I need to go buy at some point. I'm sure
Right.
that's pretty on Blu-ray.
Right. And I'm a fan of all the Terminators. Not everybody would agree. They're all so very, very different, but
It depends.
That
Like
one is-
the third one's kind of meh, other than a few cool scenes.
that's moments. Salvation
has moments. And
it's dark too, but in its own way.
There are some parts I like.
Yeah.
I didn't even watch Genesis because I was like, I'm not giving this even a chance.
There's moments in it.
It's kinda what I figured.
I would give it a chance, but
I will.
don't go into it thinking you're gonna get
I'm
a
definitely-
Terminator 2 or a
Right.
Terminator.
I'm not gonna pay for it.
Yeah,
No,
stream
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Netflix or Hulu or whatever.
Sure.
However you do it.
Well, I heard
But,
there's a sixth one coming. Now.
There is. With
Sixth one coming.
Linda Carter.
Carter signed up for it, so she's
Linda
game.
Hamilton.
Linda-
Linda
I'm
Carter
sorry,
comes
Linda.
in and it's like, why
If
is
Linda
old Wonder
Carter's
Woman
in
showing
there.
up? And why hasn't anybody given her a sandwich yet? Because I'm really sick and tired of Linda Carter running around looking like an Ethiopian. Get a sandwich in this woman.
She's been living among them. No, I don't know. But no, yeah, she signed up for it. I guess she's in.
Yeah.
And what's his name that played T-1000s? But he wants
Robert
to come
Patrick?
back. He wants to come back. He
Nice.
went on record. He's like, I'll do whatever you want in the movie. I'll just show up and die. I don't
Yeah.
care. He's like, I want to be in it. So that's cool.
Na, na,
So,
na. Explosions and Linda Hamilton.
yeah. And something else I just thought of. If we get another Terminator movie, shall we get an Austrian Death Machine to do the soundtrack?
Oh God! If we don't, at least make a soundtrack on the
Still in
side.
jail?
At least
No,
at
he's
least
out.
do a
He's
song.
out.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
so
just
he-
got
so-
out. He just got out. Yeah.
All green lights.
Green, yeah.
If
But,
you're listening,
yeah.
producers.
Yeah, hey,
No,
he's
you'd
trying to
make that
get.
happen.
I guess on side note, I guess he's trying to get Azalea Dying back, but
I don't-
with all new band members.
Right.
But how well it's going to work out? I mean, after you paid, undercover cop to kill your wife, how well would you trust this person? You know?
I don't
Right.
care, dude. Screw you. Just bring back Austrian Death Machine.
Yeah.
I'll be happy. Just
Solid
get
album.
your Arnold impersonator, dude, and
Yeah.
just get writing some awesome,
right,
funny ass songs. And I'm
right,
good.
and screw you, Benny. All right. No. All right. So great choice. Great choice.
Remember I
All
said
right.
I'd kill you last? I
I
lied.
lied. See you at the party, Richter.
All right. So you're up again, Richard.
Okay.
You're
so,
number 2, which we already know you're number 1, but you're number 2.
3, isn't it?
Yeah, I have yet to do my number 3.
you got
so.
two. You got 2 more to go. Then.
Yes, I
Okay.
have 2 more to go.
Okay.
All right, so we're on number 3.
You're on number
okay.
3, correct.
So my number 3. Now you could say it doesn't have to go with the original. I guess you could see the original first, just to kind of see where it could have been heading. But I straight up, I think the second one is better than the first one, and that is the House movies. House 2, the second story.
Yes.
God, another one I still have
It
not
is,
watched.
my
it
gosh.
is every bit
Everything.
of a cheesy 80s adventure horror movie. You're going to get a lot of good special effects and not really scary, but you feel like you're
Yes.
along for the ride. You really feel like you're there, and it's really cool.
Take the enjoyment of watching a trauma film times 50.
Right,
I
absolutely.
do need to check this movie out.
Absolutely.
It's awesome.
It's good. We actually had an idea we were tossing around about maybe doing movie
Yeah,
things in it. Maybe that's a movie we
that
could
would
do.
be a good one because
That's
I watched most of the original and I was not a fan, but
Yeah,
I would
sure.
be willing to check out the second one.
And
It's
I'm
a
not.
different take than
It's
number one.
very different than the original,
Mhm.
and they made a third one, and I think even a fourth one.
Yeah.
too,
But it's like you don't after you see the second one, you don't really.
Yeah, you're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's that. And personally, it's that cool. It's
gotta
that
be
cool.
my
Yeah,
favorite of them
Yeah.
by far.
yeah. It's like it takes you all these different places, and yeah,
Yeah,
pretty cool.
I'll definitely check it
Yeah.
out.
So maybe that's an idea for a viewing and a review, or
I
like
think
different ideas,
I think
or-
one of them just saying even I could say this off air, but dude, I think we should do Demons and Demons 2. And
I
just
would be
do
down for that.
a marathon of both of them, like just sandwiched together, and just until our eyes explode from all the gore and violence.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. I'm down for that.
Yeah.
We should do it. Yeah, let's.
Because I know
Let's
you
do
didn't
it.
see Demons. Like he and I watched Demons, and we're just like, oh my god, this movie's
Yeah.
insane.
So, it's cool in that way to where you've seen them both. I've seen one of them. He hasn't really seen them. So
Where
there's
you
all
are
different
perfect.
So
takes
we've
on
done a
it.
little bit of everything.
Sure.
Just-
So
yeah.
that'd be a cool thing.
All
so
right.
Yeah.
But
So-
anyway, back to
back to this.
yeah, House 2.
Yeah. So it's a very fun movie. It's you like the characters. The bad guy is badass. The creatures are really cool and silly. Kind of looks like maybe Jen Henson had something to do with it. Honestly, if you look at the creatures.
I like the
So-
main character that
Mm-hmm.
that basically comes back from the dead.
Sure.
Yes.
Not to spoil
Right.
anything,
That's
but
why there's no
but
names
yeah,
mentioned.
but yeah,
But
absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely. And it has the crystal skull in this one, which is
Yes.
cool. Which is really is a legend, that
Sure.
these were made,
Right.
so which is pretty cool.
Right.
But yeah, so that's my number
Three.
Number 3, yeah.
Great choice.
Number 3.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good.
And
So,
I
yeah.
should be writing your guys' down because I'm going to be texting you up later. haven't kept
Alright.
up with it.
All right, well, my number 2. Okay, so just moving right along. I'm actually surprised this did not make it on somebody else's list, and maybe it will once I say it.
Uh-huh.
I was just talking earlier tonight. We were just gabbing about something, and I was
Sure.
just like, "This is one of those times where I enjoy the sequel more than I do the original." It's not so much that the original's not great. It's just that it feels like the story, the concept, and everything else was just kind of like more cohesive and better in the sequel, and just works better. You don't even really need necessarily the original to enjoy the sequel, and that, without really burying the lead again any longer, is Evil Dead 2.
That's my number 2 as well.
Yes, number
Damn.
2. All right, so let me write this down too.
Yeah,
It
I was
just-
going to say, you know, we talked about people missing hands, and
Yeah.
you know, this one, the fact that it technically could be called a remake, but at the same time, it's
Yeah.
Which I was always confused about, but then I figured out, we'll just go with it,
yeah,
leave it alone,
just- yeah.
because it's that cool. First one's good,
Well,
but this one's,
And what I
that
love
good.
is that the first one, you watch it, and, you know, Bruce Campbell as Ash is just kind of a guy that survives to the end. He's
Right.
not
Sure.
really a hero or anything. He's
He-
kind of silly. He doesn't...
Sure.
But at the same
He's
time,
the
he
guy
doesn't-
that makes it.
But he doesn't do anything really out of the ordinary that makes you remember him too much, other than just getting beat the hell out of and
Right.
getting blood poured all over him.
Right.
Sure.
Whereas in the sequel, like, you get more to his character, and you get like a hint of, especially when he's going crazy, basically, just like how nuts Bruce Campbell is, and
Sure.
just, you know, he becomes this iconic like horror movie, you know, icon.
Yeah.
Like,
definitely.
finally, instead of getting yet another killer, like another Jason or a Freddy or anybody like that, we finally get a guy that actually fights the bad guys.
Right.
Sure,
And
sure. He gets the crap beat out of him, but kind
And
of
just
fights it
keep-
back.
yeah,
you know?
keeps coming.
Keeps coming. Yeah, exactly. And he's just a regular dude.
Yeah.
It's
Just a regular guy.
also, in my opinion, kind of the starter of the comedy horror.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Didn't have that before this movie.
No, that they.
There were moments in the original that are like, oh, that's kind of funny.
That's funny, but,
But
nothing like
Evil
the second
Dead
one.
2,
Oh, yeah.
Raise
they're
the
not
bar.
afraid to just, you know, put something in there to
Straight
make
up.
it laugh.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of well, even though it is kind of creepy, the deer.
Yes,
Oh,
deer heads,
yeah.
the laugh,
Yeah.
and the deer, and the
Yeah.
It's still like, it's unsettling, but it's still kind of funny.
yes,
Right.
yes. Make the humor creepy.
Yeah.
Right.
Beautiful.
And I love that. And it's like you run into some of those people, it's like, well, it's kind of silly. Is that he's supposed to be serious? I'm like, no, it's supposed to be like that.
Right.
It is supposed
You
to
know,
be that goofy.
Chops
you
his
know.
hand off, his hand's running around. He,
Sure,
like, goes to
sure.
shoot it, he misses, and the hand like flips him the bird.
Yeah.
And then he catches his hand in the mouse trap, and he starts laughing at it. It's so funny.
No, it's a classic film.
And you gotta
Classic
think,
film.
like, the Deadites, they mess with you.
Oh yeah.
So
Sure.
that goofiness
Uh-huh.
is them just messing with
Messing with
Well,
you.
and
Yeah.
after 2 seasons of Ash vs. the Evil Dead, they really cue that in a lot, and I love that they brought that back.
Yeah.
Because that was how I felt in like the second one, was they really do a good job of they mess with you mentally.
Definitely.
Sure.
It's not just
Sure.
a straight cut, yeah, I'm a demon and I'm going to try to kill you. No, I'm going to screw with you
No, we're
until
gonna
you
screw
go
with your
insane.
mind. Yeah, exactly.
Until
Yeah.
you want us to take over.
Right. Like, no, please, just do it. Yeah.
I mean, who
No.
else would put a colon on top of the...
Oh, God.
Oh God,
only
that
Bruce
scene,
Campbell.
man, that scene from the
I'm in the
show.
butt! I'm in the butt!
Dude, the fact that it shows it and everything.
Oh,
it's
God.
like you see it. It wasn't a Pierce too. It's
Yeah.
like I'm like, am I the only one that looked to notice that? Like, oh, dude had it pierced. Oh,
I
that's
wasn't even in the
awesome.
movie we were talking about,
No,
but...
but...
We're talking about the show, for
Which
those
is
who don't
funny
know,
because
which is
the-
amazing.
The movie itself is pretty gory, but all things considered, there's worse out there.
Yes.
Right. Absolutely. People say, I don't know, I don't like all that gore and stuff. Well, there's a lot worse out there, there really is. And dare I say, I'm bringing up Cannibal Holocaust, because my God,
You're
you
gonna
see
go
all kinds
anywhere.
of crazy
Well,
stuff.
you know.
There is worse stuff out there. It's
Sure.
like, even with music, people say, oh, I don't like Manson or whatever. It's just so dark and like. You've seen all the death metal bands or black metal bands
a lot
that do
more
that stuff for
dark.
real?
Yeah,
Burn
yeah.
the churches?
Like,
That shit's
if you're
real.
gonna get into a gory movie, like Evil Dead 2 is a pretty solid choice because it's still got a good story.
It's got-
funny.
And it's got a good amount of gore.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The fact that you learn that Bruce Campbell at that age, at that time, was able to do a complete front flip just by grabbing the back of his head is pretty impressive.
Now, see, that was
If you read
funny
his
too.
book,
Oh yeah.
he talks about it.
Well, he talks about the fact that he used to be able to do that, and then
Yeah.
like he tried to do it when he was like in his early 40s.
Oh,
Like,
God.
like pulled his.
Dislocated.
Yeah, he was like, that was the time I realized I will never be able to do
Never
that
again.
again.
Well, that train has left the station. Or,
But yeah,
God.
just really good.
It's You know, it's like I tell people, and there's a guy I work with, and he's never seen any of them. The
Oh
show,
my God.
the films. He goes, "Well, do I need to start with number one?" I'm like, "Well, you could, but honestly, you don't have to."
I would be like, if you want to be a completist, yes, watch the original.
Watch the original.
It is a great movie. But if you're like in a hurry or you really just want to get the cusp of it, you could start with 2.
Sure.
Go to
then,
3.
Sure.
And then watch
you
the
can work,
show.
Yeah, and then you
Right.
can work your way back and watch the
Yeah,
first one or whatever.
But like if it's your thing, yeah, then you could go back and watch the original.
Sure.
It's not
Preference.
necessarily.
As well as if you're going to watch 2 and then 3, make sure you understand 3 has a couple different endings.
Sure.
Sure.
So don't let that pass
And
you.
three is meant to be a totally different movie as well.
Yeah,
You know,
it's more
it's
of an
not
action
supposed to be
movie
a
than anything.
bloodbath.
Yes.
It's
You
an
know.
adventure, basically.
It's an adventure movie. Yeah. It kind of, in a roundabout sort of way, it has that feeling that House does. It's kind
Sure,
of doing that
yeah.
plane. It really does.
And
Has that adventure.
and it's one of
and
those rare
goofy.
times where you can watch the remake and still enjoy it as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I remember we went to the theater
Yeah.
and saw the remake, and we had a, you know, so there's going to be a 50-50 chance this is going to be all right. This is going to
Right.
be good. Man, we were pretty satisfied when we walked out of there.
That's a
Which
really
I was
good one.
surprised. Yeah,
Absolutely.
it was a damn good remake.
And it doesn't hurt that it like basically acknowledges that the other movies happened.
Absolutely.
So it's like,
right.
okay, this is a continuation.
It's
I
part
like
of
this.
it. It's not really. It is a remake, but it's not.
Exactly.
So-
Which is the opposite of what many movies today are doing.
Oh, they do
and
straight up.
completely forgetting
Old
the
one didn't
original.
exist. This is what it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's crap.
Yes.
RoboCop.
Ghostbusters. Nightmare on Elm Street.
We would say like, you know, Friday the 13th too, but those are just so goofy that
Yeah.
I just always act like that one's a sequel anyway. That
What,
remake.
Friday the new
The new
Friday
one,
the 13th?
yeah.
I went back and watched it recently. It's not that bad.
It's not, but
It's-
I just
yeah,
say
it's not
it's
great,
another sequel.
But
Yeah.
it just feels like part 12 or wherever
Yeah,
we're at. in
wherever
the
we're at
series.
now, yeah.
Because it's the same
Sure.
thing. They don't change anything, and it pretty much you could watch it with the rest of them all still
Sure,
happening.
sure. We'll just put in the commentary at the beginning, part 12.
Yeah,
You know?
I would have been fine with it.
Yeah.
He
So-
does some different things, though. I noticed after watching in rapid succession the first 8.
Mm-hmm.
The fact he's like starts traps and stuff was kind of
Sure.
cool. That was
He's a
not
little more
something he's really
intelligent.
done that before.
It's not just like Braun or whatever he is.
Sure.
A bit intelligent, so
I like that a lot.
yeah.
That's getting off the subject.
Yeah.
though. So
Yeah.
Evil Dead 2 is definitely
Very
yes.
solid choice. Great.
If
great
you've not
choice.
seen Evil Dead 2, you need to remedy that unless you're like a Jehovah's Witness. And if you are a Jehovah's Witness and you're listening to this, you've really got to question why at this point.
my thing is go see that movie.
Yeah,
Go
even if you're a Jehovah's Witness, go see it.
Go
right?
watch the movie, yeah, because you can still be whatever you want to be into and still be entertained.
Yeah,
You know, it's a movie, it's art.
yeah,
Enjoy it. Anyway,
So the fact that we both share that as number 2,
sure.
we're all down to one.
Well,
Well-
we are because he already went through. Well, he's got
He's
number
got
two,
number 2.
and then I got a 1, and then
And
you've
I got
got
a 1.
you got a 1. That's right.
so
Okay.
I have a feeling that we might agree on that one,
Okay, it's a possibility.
and I honestly, you kind of came out left field a little bit, which is awesome. I kind of want to see where yours is at.
Okay.
So Paul, so I don't know where
look
we.
at my I was going to turn my phone on to look at my list, and I was like, I really don't need to look at it for my number 1.
It's like, oh yeah, I know it. So who are we?
It's
So
well, I
so
went,
it's-
you went, and then I went, and
Yeah.
I said my number 2 was Evil Dead 2, which was also his
Shared
number
mine.
2.
Okay, so
So it goes to
So
you.
so let's go back to me now.
Yes.
It's my number two, right?
Your number 2, because your number 1 was already announced.
T2, yeah. All right, so my number 2 is almost as good as my number 1. It's pretty damn close, and it's made by a lot of the same guys. So I'm just going to spit it out. It's Aliens, the second
That was
Alien.
my
Which
number
was
1.
my
Look
number
at
1.
that.
That's my number
Holy
1 as well.
shit.
How about that?
Now-
Aliens, I've said this with a friend of mine that is actually a director and went to film school and everything. We've both agreed that Aliens might, in fact, be the perfect movie.
Yeah.
It just,
It's,
everything about it is great.
Mhm.
Like, there's nothing in it that I can really, like, pick out
No.
unless I sit there for hours and analyze it that I
Yeah.
can say is, like, really not good.
Right.
I just watched it last night, this morning, again, I had it on,
Yeah.
in bed, watching it.
So
And
good.
It really is. It's one of those movies you can watch over and over again and enjoy
Definitely.
it.
And you can watch it without even watching the first one.
Absolutely.
Right.
You can still get a great it's
you can
actually
understand it.
You can understand it better if you watch the original,
Right.
and the original's amazing. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh yeah.
But you can the way they set up
The pace is different.
the second one, you don't need to see the first one though. Honestly,
No, you
like
don't.
it's almost scarier if you don't watch the first one because you just get a hint of what the hell's going on. And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
okay,
you know Ripley was through some shit,
right,
and she doesn't want to go back as first. You know, she's terrified to face her demons,
Yep.
and her fears, and
this podcast obviously I'm in love with this movie, but
Yeah.
it's so good because it does 3 genres almost. I mean, it's horror, it's sci-fi, and it's action all in one, and it all does it well.
right.
Definitely.
The only reason why it wasn't my number one in T2 is I think that Cameron and everybody with him took everything from Aliens, made it that much better for T2.
Sure.
The effects and everything, the tanks and everything you see, I just think he improved on it.
Yeah.
And made it a blockbuster hit.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely, and it made a lot of money.
Yeah.
It just for some reason just Aliens, the pacing, the characters, the
Yeah.
story, everything is just perfect.
Oh,
There
it is.
are, like, as
certainly
much
is.
as I love T2 and I've watched it hundreds of times,
Sure.
you get to a point with T2 though where it almost there are moments where it gets kind of slow. Like you got to get the story. Don't get me wrong.
Sure.
But there are
some
moments
points,
where it's like, okay, well now we're out in Mexico and they're getting all this figured out.
Sure.
And I understand why we're doing this, but it kind of starts lagging after you've seen it hundreds of times.
Sure.
Whereas
absolutely.
Aliens, it constantly feels like, okay, we're doing this, we're doing that. Okay, we're
Right,
moving on. Okay,
right.
now we're screwed. We need to get this figured out. Okay.
And one of the things, another thing that I was talking about earlier that make this movie even more better, like I said about Predator, when you're in the jungle, he's in the jungle, you feel like you're there.
Yeah.
You feel like you're there in the
You're
second
on
one,
the
the
ship.
buildings. You feel like you're in, you feel like that you're
Sure.
down on LV
426.
426 and that you feel like you're with them and all that mess and everything and,
Well,
trying to, the
as-
doors and everything.
As scary as the first one is, I'm not taking that away whatsoever. It is perfect. It's a haunted house movie in space.
That-
It's
you know what,
great.
I was
And it
actually
does
just
that
gonna
well.
say that, yeah.
The whole thing though is that the second one is like, how the hell do we make this worse? How do we
Right.
make it scarier? We take the monster that there was one of in the original, and we make an entire planet of these bastards.
Yeah,
And-
all these families, all these people
Which,
over there.
granted, we're pumping that up with the fact that, you're going to get, all these badass Marines that have
Sure.
high-tech weaponry, but who's
What
going to win
What
this?
are you going to do with hundreds of these things,
Right.
Yeah.
that are smart, and just keep coming,
And deceptive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
So-
just,
Not only want to kill you, but want to cocoon you and
Yeah.
make more of you,
It's-
which is worse than death.
It's all about, the whole movie is about survival, basically.
It is, it
It's
is.
one
It's a survival
species
movie.
trying to survive, while another species is also trying to survive,
Yeah.
and it's just a question of who's going to make it.
Yeah.
While also, but there's so many different things you can go into the motherhood aspect of the movie.
Sure,
There's so
Newt
many
and Ripley,
allegories of motherhood in it.
Or the kind of the bond or the friendship that develops between Ripley and
Hicks.
Hicks.
Sure, I mean, it just,
Yeah.
it did so much. Just the fact that without Ripley, we wouldn't have, Sarah Connor, like a badass.
Sure. Oh yeah. Because
Female character.
Yeah.
She
Right.
started
yeah.
it,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the
Sigourney
fact that she
Weaver
goes,
was in the
you know,
80s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Alien, she was great, but Alien, she's just like,
She took it to a whole nother level, and she was. In the first movie, she was part of the crew, and then became.
Well, she had to out of
main-
sheer survival.
She became the main character. Yes, it's a survivor.
Whereas
in
in-
this one, she was the main character, and she
And on
did it
top
very
of that,
well.
it could be argued that at the end of the movie, she could have very easily just said, "Screw it." Newt's been captured. We're getting the hell out of here.
Let's just ditch her and go.
But
yeah.
and would have been survived,
Sure.
and everything's over. And, another kid dies, and screws her up for the rest of her life. But instead says, "Screw it," basically goes on a suicide mission to get this kid back. And whereas they had 20, Marines go into the nest the first time, it's one lady with one pulse rifle and a flamethrower.
That
And
battles
just
them all.
basically
Yeah.
takes it all on
Right.
just because she does not care at that point. And it's
And-
amazing.
And Lance Henriksen is on top of this game.
Everybody.
Every actor is, and it's for him when he plays Bishop. he's kind of, I'm not going to say questionable, but especially I guess after you watch the first movie, you see how the android is crazy or how they can't act. You're like, it's kind of gray with him, but he ends up pulling through in the end too and becoming, awesome.
Oh, and I love that. You know, we live in a time where everybody's trying to, like, how are we going to make a horror movie scary? How are we going to make it scarier? How is the next one going to... And the thing that I love about Aliens is that it doesn't necessarily really do any jump scares, but it continues the tension and does a great job of...
Oh, the tension, is everlasting.
The end of that movie is like, okay, so she gets nude, they get out of there, the planet blows up, they're on the ship, everything's cool. And she's just talking to Bishop and everything's cool. And then all of a sudden it's not a jump scare, but it's just like a little, like acid on the ground and all of a sudden right out of his chest and you're like, wait a minute, how does that happen? He's a robot. How can he have like a chest and then cut in half?
Cut in half.
And it's just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
It's not done. Oh god.
Yeah. It's just like, oh shit, the queen.
Bonus round.
Yeah, right. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, and the way they did the queen in that, they put so much time into those effects with the power loader, the queen, and all that, And
just, the weaponry and like, the technology was so cool that to this day, that movie was made in '86 and we're still talking about how cool, how much we want a power loader, how much we want a pulse rifle.
And how pissed off I was that I went to the store and it was gone. The whole power loader, and I was going to buy it, yeah. But, and another thing that I was kind of thinking about too, when Ghostbusters came out and you were, I can't speak for girls, but you were a boy, you were a kid, you wanted to be a Ghostbuster.
Sure.
Well, dude, when I saw that, it's like, I wanted to be one of them too, I wanted to be in the Marines with the pulse rifle. Like, that was so cool. Where's the toy for that? And then, of course, the alien toys did come.
They did come, but we never really did get a pulse rifle.
No.
It was too much of like, it's just going to be a straight up gun. Now, if they would have made the toys in the 80s right when the movie came out, we might have.
Right.
The problem is, they didn't bring the toys out until like 92, 93, and they were like, we're not making a pulse rifle for a little kid. That's not happening.
Nonetheless, it's cool. You still got alien toys 4 years or something later,
Oh, yeah.
Which is, but it's that good, so.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, such a quotable movie. I can still quote it.
So many good quotes, the game over, stay frosty,
Yeah, you wouldn't have our outro without it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's true.
It's so damn good. God, if you haven't seen Aliens and you're listening to this, screw you.
Right.
Unless you're under, 18.
Doesn't matter, go watch it now.
You just haven't had a chance to do it.
I was a young kid and saw it. First time I saw it was on TV,
Yeah.
So you had to go rent it or whatever to see the full version.
First time I saw it was at Sun TV while my parents were buying a new TV.
Nice. That
they had it on demo.
Nice.
And it probably was not a good idea because I was like 8. It scared the piss out of me.
Could be worse movies, I suppose, to watch other than that. But
well, I don't think they'd be like Demo and Cannibal Holocaust. But
probably not.
That is unless you know somebody that wanted to get fired.
We run in there, put the tape in, leave. Just videotape everybody's expression that stops to buy a TV.
What is that?
I kind of wanted one, but no, So
I remember it was a laser disc too, because they're trying to show the state of the art. So it was a laser disc of Aliens, so it was crisp.
Laserdisc is one of those funny things. It's like it was new technology. And it could have worked. It really could have worked.
Yeah.
Sure.
And they've been gone for many years, and they're still so expensive.
Sure.
Well, not all of them, but there's some very expensive ones.
It was actually the better format, wasn't it?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a step up from VHS, obviously.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it was better than DVD though.
Like, it's been so long ago since I've seen one that I couldn't tell you, but
yeah, the only I remember one of my friends had a laser disc of the original Star Wars and gave it to me for Christmas.
Yeah.
And I just remember holding that thing. It was like this big.
Yeah, they were huge.
It was bigger than a record.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
It was intense.
They were. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just remember looking at it and you could actually it was it kind of looked like a record.
Sure.
It basically looked like a huge cartridge that you put into something.
Sure.
But if you opened it, you could see there was a huge disc in there.
Sure.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a 8-track casing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They were different. It's funny how some things work out too, like laser discs. They were going to be the next big things, didn't do well at all.
Right. Yeah.
But look, vinyl is like back and it's huge. You know, a lot of people are buying that stuff up. You know,
it's recycled.
What's,
it is.
What's funny is
it's crazy.
Like VHS is starting to come back a
it
little
really
bit.
is, and cassette tapes as well.
Yeah.
It's like people are really buying that stuff.
It's cool. It's nostalgia.
Yeah,
you know?
and I'm all about that too. But it's like when it comes to film or music, well, I guess maybe the better way for music maybe is vinyl.
Vinyl still it has a specific sound to it. Yeah.
Especially when it was originally released on vinyl.
Sure.
But for films,
yeah,
the 4K is the best way you're going to see the movie.
Sure. Well,
I mean, yeah, there is a nostalgia factor, but if I had different ways I wanted to see it,
sure. Right. I was actually just watching a documentary about the British video nasties of the late 70s, early 80s.
Sure.
And one thing they were talking about is like the fact that, you know, they were passing around these tapes to everybody, and it was so, you know, the tape was so, like, from watching it so many times, it was so dilapidated, and the you know, you could tell when a scary moment was coming because it started to get really grainy because people had rewound it so many times. And but basically there was one person they were interviewing was talking about this. He was a director, and he's like, the whole thing is that it made it scarier and like kind of your own. It made it more frightening to you. He's like, for instance, I went and, you know, the other night watched this movie, a Serbian film. And he's like, it's a very gory, disturbing movie. Very but the problem is watching it. It's crisp and beautiful and directed well, and it takes me out because I realize it's a movie. Whereas I'd watch these old VHS tapes of these, you know, weird movies from like, you know, Italy where people are getting cut in half and stuff, and it's like it was scarier because it was like I can't see it very well. I don't know what's exact, you know.
Right.
So maybe that's why VHS is kind of coming back a little bit too.
Sure. And to comment on that a little bit, the first time I saw the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre when I was a kid, and I had a library card, and I rented it from the library.
Wow.
And put it in, static. Yeah, nothing but static. Eventually, you know how it is when a video was really dilapidated. It eventually works itself out back into the movie. That's what it was when the guy was in the van starting to cut himself or whatever. God. And it's like, what? You know, as a kid, I'm like, what? Is this the way it starts? You know, at the library. That was my first thing to us. I was already freaked out.
Like that was like I rented a copy of the thing. Now, granted, I'd seen it before, but I remember watching it, and it just cuts off randomly. Like the tape just broke as I was watching it. It wasn't even in a scary moment. It was like a non-tense moment, like somebody's like working at a computer. Just I was like, what? Huh?
Made it twice as scary for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're
kind of like, huh?
You're wondering, what's it going to possess next? And it's like, it's not even those parts.
Yeah, you know.
It's like, oh, it's the dog now, or whatever. But
and it never came back on. So it wasn't like it just immediately came back to another scene or something. No, it just, like, I think the tape literally broke.
Wow. It's crazy.
But it just freaked me out. It's just like, that's not how I remember it happening.
Wow, yeah. I mean, God, I love watching old, you know, videos and stuff and all that. And talking about being dilapidated, you'd rent those ones too, or you would make them that way, whatever you prefer, whatever happened, where the nude scenes or whatever the sex scenes would come about.
I will never forget.
And you knew.
I might embarrass someone, Chad Motes. I gotta call you out on this. One of the greatest birthday presents ever. The man. I never knew what he was doing, but he had like a video rental card that he got like summer of 98, 99, and he would go to the video store in Utica and just would rent a movie like every other night. And I never knew what the hell he was doing. Because I come over and it was a secret project he wouldn't tell anybody about, because you know, I was going to college, but he was going to college next year or something.
Sure.
So he's basically just lounging all summer. But like he was like doing something. He had 2 VHS players, and keep in mind our sequels are over. But God, this is a good story. So like I don't think anything of it. I don't question him on it.
Right.
You know, it comes around to Christmas time, and he's like, I made something for you. I'm like, okay. And he's just like, I'm not even going to say what this is. Just take it home and enjoy it. But don't watch it with your parents around. And I was like, okay. And sure enough, I go home, and this genius, evidently he had spent his entire summer making a VHS. And he made multiple copies,
I'm just gonna say it's probably a collage of different scenes, right?
Oh, it starts out with Phoebe Cates in Fast Times at Ridgemont High coming out of the water in the pool.
Nice.
And then it goes into like Basic Instinct with Sharon Stone. And it's like every nude scene you can think of is on that. It was on this compilation. It was a good hour long. It was just like impressive that it just like goes from scene to scene. I'm just like, I didn't even know what movies I was watching at some point. I was just like, whoa.
Now you go back and you're like, oh, this is the movie that had that scene.
After I was just like, bravo to the director, but like, how did you know about this? He's like, I got my ways. It was impressive.
Being a horny young guy, you stumble across things.
Yeah.
It was when the internet was still young. We still were all on dial-up, so it wasn't like you're gonna download something really impressive.
I wouldn't even try to find anything like that because I couldn't even get into my email. So it's like, how am I supposed to view anything like this?
This magnificent bastard had made a Mr. Skin compilation before Mr. Skin.
Did he give it a title or anything?
He didn't. No title. It was just a black case. Black.
At least, yeah, the black case and everything.
Just hands it to me.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, talking about this, two things I want to talk about. One is I had a friend do something similar for me. He taped, I don't even know what it was from, what the title was, but it was like the 70s porno. It was, the storyline was where these convicts escape from this prison. They're trying to get away. They find like a log cabin out in the middle of nowhere where all these horny young girls or whatever. That's the story. Here comes the sheriff trying to find them. That's it. He's like, I made you something. It's that. But he's got like, what do you call him? He's got like Young and the Restless and help me out here. All the
like As the World Turns.
As the World Turns. Thank you. Yeah, he's got
soap operas.
So all these soap operas. Yeah, I couldn't think of it. But anyway, he's like, you got to fast forward it through all this, and then you'll get to that. He's like, he had it hidden. And it's like, if you go to like 43 minutes up into the film, then you'll get there.
That's
like,
sneaky.
It was
I did that
brilliant.
Stuff.
It was brilliant, and it's like and he had it titled. What was the one Jackie Chan movie? Rumble in the Bronx. That's what he titled it. Rumble in the Bronx.
My parents.
I had that sitting around my house. My mom never knew till now.
My dad. I got some applause from my father a few years ago. I did one of those where it's like, late night Skinemax,
sure.
In my late teens, early 20s.
Sure.
Like, watch the late night Skinemax, and it's like, there's good stuff I want to watch later. But it's like, what the hell am I going to tape over?
Right.
So, like, evidently, so my dad's like, yeah, so one day I was just looking through old VHS I was bored. I found Under Siege and I'm watching it. And it just, of course, there's the cake scene of Erica Laniak coming out topless. That's still there. But then, like, 2 seconds later, it goes into a bunch of random scenes from, like, some obvious, like, softcore porn. It's like, yeah, I couldn't find another tape to record on.
You gotta do with what you got, switch it with what you have. Oh, God. Yeah, dude. The days are gone of mixtapes and all that stuff and stuff crazy like that. But that was fun stuff.
It was.
You could be secretive and genius.
You had to be You had to be sneaky and smart to get the cool stuff.
You really did.
Nowadays, kid just needs an internet connection and a tablet.
They can do it. Straight from their phone. It's like Dad or Mom, I want a phone or whatever. And it's like, well, better block the crap out of it because
good luck.
You're not going to go through that genius sneaking like we did.
Our day and age, we had to hope and pray somebody left a porno mag out in the woods. And that
I'm going out to take a pee.
Raccoons hadn't ripped it apart.
Yeah. What is this? Oh, I'm going to be out here a few minutes. Raccoons, got a show going on. Bear or Sasquatch, whatever. Something that, I don't know if to end it or whatever, but something else I want to say. You mentioned a Serbian film. That was a movie a couple years ago that a friend of ours, I'm not going to name his name on here, but he mentioned it and he told me about it, and he's like, it's very hard to get a hold of, and especially a good copy, because it's like, it's so against the grain. It's got a lot of bad stuff supposedly in it. And
I still haven't seen it because I can't find it.
Well, after a long time of finding, because when you hear, well, you don't need to see that, or it's bad, or, they make horror films about this, you can't watch this, or whatever. After looking for it long and hard, no pun intended, I found it. and it's a really good copy, and it's like, you don't watch, it's one of those things you watch by yourself or you watch with your buddies, and you're like,
it's kind of
it gets to be fucked up. It really does.
I've heard. I've not seen it. I still don't know exactly what goes on in it, but I just know that it's one of those movies you either watch by yourself and kind of experience on your own, or it's something that you do. It's not something you do at a party.
No,
it's something you either
absolutely not.
Maybe watch with some.
It'd be
good
worse
friends
than showing Cannibal Holocaust at a little kid's birthday party.
Or kind of. It's kind of like the first
really
time I saw Cannibal Holocaust was with some good friends. We were drunk.
Sure.
Partially drunk and watched it.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, we were sober and had so many questions.
Like, what?
And just had
the
this
fuck did I
long
just
conversation just about weird.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here? Had the same thing happen with Human Centipede, but more it was just.
Yeah. That you don't see. Well, in
that was more just a ew, gross.
It was just like a mind screw. I mean, you didn't get to see everything. With Cannibal Holocaust, there was certain things like that, but you got to see. You did get to see more, obviously.
Sure.
But with this, it's like, you. Let's put it this way. I have it on a hard drive, and it's by itself to where you don't like, oh, I'm gonna throw some movies on, and it loops, and all of a sudden you come to it. No, it's by itself because. Unless you want to sit down and really watch it, it's crazy. It really is.
It's one of those I think I will have to witness at some point just to be able to.
It's not. Now I will say it's not quite as bad as what they say. The way I had it described.
It's not like the Ring tape where your dead life is ruined.
Seriously, it was like you're seeing all this vulgar stuff that your eyes don't need to be seeing about certain things, but there is some of that. You're like, what the fuck, But
you make sure you have a palate cleanser at the ready,
pretty much.
Old episodes of Batman the Animated Series, on cue,
stuff to cheer
Louis B. Armstrong with "What a Wonderful World," something.
That's the soundtrack.
I need a palate cleanser. I need something. I need a mint.
Something. But wow, we covered so many topics and then some, really.
It was very organic.
Yes. It was, and it was fun. It was our first show back, and
we still got it.
Yeah, it's fun, and hopefully whoever listened to this, enjoyed it, and
educational. If you guys listen to this, if you have any questions or comments, we'd love to hear. As always, we want to hear your top 5. But anything you'd like to add, something you'd like to change to make things better for us, we'd love to hear it.
Sure. I don't mind criticism. Sure. If I don't like it, I'll just tell you I don't like it.
I don't mind criticism. I'll just delete it if I don't like it.
What is that? Oh, comment gone. I never saw that. Yeah. No, seriously, I'd love to hear feedback, and of course your top 5, and just conversation and everything, and I'll throw links up, of course, on the Instagram, the Facebook. We'll have it up on the YouTube. Trying to think what else. Now, are we going to do a companion piece video with this, like the other ones? You want to do a music video?
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah,
with some tunes.
Those tend to go over well. Like some people watch them just to get an idea and see if they actually want to watch the full version. And
the music we've chosen so far, I think it flows very well together.
Sure.
Whether it was the last one with Chili Peppers or, or whatever. So
right on.
So, is there anything else you want to add?
Nothing I can really think of.
Okay. We'll put info up, where you can reach us or whatever, if you want to. You can check out my pages. I'm always throwing art up. Crazy stuff, whatever. It's just good to do this again, and hopefully we'll do this again soon. And
absolutely,
enjoy, and we got a good hour and a half into it. So
I think that's good enough. As always, questions, comments, criticisms, as always, are asked for.
A lot of fun. Yeah.
And until next time, please stay frosty.
Stay frosty. And do whatever else you want to do.
Don't put Twinkies on your pizza.
No, that's a big Twinkie.
I was just going to say that. All right, everybody, stay frosty. Thanks for listening.